Hey, welcome back to MVP Hot Wheels. This is Diesel Mac, and I've been kind of messing around with these cases I got in. I told you guys I would do a little bit of an update, and if you're just stacking in a kind of normal way, it kind of works out, works pretty well. You can see here, this particular series, I believe, just has the 11 variations. So there's the 6, each different car, and then each one has a casting or a variance to it, except for the La Troca there at the, or 56 Chevy at the top. And it kind of works. The problem, of course, is it's, it could, rock back or forth fairly easy. In fact, when I was putting some of these cars in, and when I was let that side sit, I was doing this side, that one actually, I had bumped it and it easily fell over. So there's that part of it. You can see the one behind it. Let's see if I can kind of move this out of the way without too much going on. That stacking was all right. You can see here, this is, I think, the 2007 holiday rods there in the background now. And there's 3 of each, except for, I think the tail dragger or something like that, that I don't have. And that works. It seems to be, displayable. This one happens to have 16 variations. Of course, there's 3 of each, except for the tail dragger, which just has the one, just kind of the same as the 2000. I think these are the 2008 holiday rods, for the ones I just showed you here on the right. So it's kind of just interesting. So now that all these are open, like this seems to be pretty good. If you were doing 9 cars, you could, put the next one, down there below, like that, and then, stack it. Could probably work, depending, if you had 9 cars. The 16 back there kind of work. I think the part that it's lacking, and I understand, right, is to be able to connect them next to each other. So with the size that these are, they don't, they got this gap in here. It's created when you stack them this way, which then becomes, a part where, like on the one to the right here, where you've got them stacked up, because in this case I have 2 variations of each one. You can't put those right next to each other and then stack the one on top of it, and they're not interconnectable, sideways. Basically, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, right? There's no matter where you want these to be, right, they're not going to connect to each other that way. So kind of a downfall in that regard. The old parking plates, you could, you would put them on, connect them, from side to side. You connect them top to top, and that seemed to work fairly well. A little bit more ability than this is, but like I said, these were fairly cheap, about $1 a car, which isn't really that bad. It just, you have to have, something for this particular setup, right? As I'd be very careful that you don't, knock that over or something like that. Even the one in the back could be knocked over. It's got a little bit more footing with 3 being there on the ground, and there's no connection, above it. I guess you could do something where you put this somewhere in the middle, and then that could, maybe we could do that. So let's go ahead and test that out real quick. That might make it just a little bit better now that I'm thinking about it, right? So we've got, what, 5 cars. So instead of it being, at the very top, we put it here in this case. So there's a couple other configurations. And then, you could go back to the top. Of course, there's nothing really holding that, so that puts pressure on the edge there. So again, I don't know if that's any better. You could extend that out, put 2 cars on the side of it. So instead of doing the 3 like this, let's say we do it with this one here, with the bagger, I guess, right? So you put that on like that, put this one in the middle, and now I'm just kind of playing around, and then you can have that, and I guess that's probably a little bit better, right? Kind of puts your star car in the middle. So I guess that's not too terrible. It's definitely better than the way I feel like I had it before, and there's, you know, more support with something being on the top of this, you know, for the cars hanging off the side there a little bit. So I don't know. I think there's a use for it. I think it's good. I might get some more, and you know, just because I can, you know, collectively do it, or put a different size collection together like this for these holiday series and whatnot, and you know, figure out some different combinations for it. You know, these are the other ones that I had gotten before, and this one is an early one, doesn't have the clip on the side, so it opens freely, but it, you know, you can hang this on the wall, kind of can stack it. They've got a little groove at the top here that the bottom, you know, this little piece fits into. Nothing to connect it, of course, necessarily. It is somewhat more open on that one side, and you know, so some dust could get in that way as well. Plus the cars, you know, this is smaller than that case there, so you can put some of the bigger cars in here, which seems to work out pretty well for that. So I guess it's kind of the update. You know, you let me know what you guys think in the comments. This actually worked out better than I thought it was going to. So I'm kind of glad I did this kind of route. I do have, you know, some 2009 holiday rods I want to put in. And I mean, I've got pretty much, you know, at least some of all the years. I think the early years I have all of them. And, you know, we can put that kind of stuff in. I'm not sure what to do with the window box ones where they come with the little plastic bottoms that the car is kind of tied down into. So we'll have to figure something out for that. But, you know, for the ones that come in regular packages, and I haven't opened, you know, that package yet, we can, you know, it works out just fine for that. And yeah. So again, let me know what you guys think. You know, throw the information, you know, your thoughts down in the comments below. And you know, if you've seen something else that works pretty well, feel free to let us know about that as well, down there. Because I'm always looking for, you know, ideas on how to, you know, store it. What I'd like to do is start creating my own individual pieces, kind of like this, and or the bigger ones like you see in the background with all the 56 flashlighters. So I've got some design ideas, and then you could, you know, custom create for the stuff that you got, you know, different series and whatnot for that kind of stuff. You know, but you're making, again, it's going to be custom. It's going to be a little bit maybe more expensive unless you're going to do a lot of it at a time. So it kind of is what it is. But, you know, once I get into the get the house built down the road, and I have a full Hot Wheels room, and I display the cars on there on the walls and stuff, that's where I'll start making that custom stuff. And you know, the only thing that makes it a pain is, you know, at the moment you start making your custom displays, then if you get one new variation that you find, because I'm a very big, obviously, variation hunter, it kind of could throw off your whole deal, right? But I think I have it in such a way that, you know, I can pull that one off and replace it if there was something like that to happen, especially with all of the Blackwall stuff. You know, I'll leave the newer stuff kind of on more of a regular, you know, format, not as custom or whatever, like the one in the background where you just kind of, you know, put as many cars as you can in there. And then, you know, later on down the road when we feel like, all right, we've definitely got, you know, all of the 56 flashlighters, you know, down to a pat, there's no more variations to be found, hopefully, then you can start creating, you know, a custom thing for stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. That's, you know, a couple years away. I'm not in a position to go build the house yet, unfortunately. So, but once we do, I have you know, my plans for a decent size kind of Hot Wheels vault, bigger than what I have here down in the basement, and I can get everything up on the walls. So that'd be pretty cool. But anyhow, I do have they're kind of like parking plates. They're from the series. I use them all the time. I'm trying to think of the series name. There's a couple issues with them, but they are kind of nice. So they are a little bit bigger. So see here, it's move that back just a little bit, and then we'll set this up on top of here so you guys can see it. So I just took these from golly, I don't know why I can't think of Demolition Man. That's what it was. Series. So these are variations within the set that I have. But these are basically parking plates. They just didn't have any colored front license plate lensing part of it for whatever, right? But here's the back part, and these connect. I'll grab, you know, a second one. Here we'll pull out that little Porsche. Right, but these are able to, you know, connect on the sides, albeit not super, you know, secure or nothing like that. And then on top as well. And then I don't think you could really do anything else. It's pretty much just made to do that, right? Because there's no connection to be made, you know, on the top to stagger them or anything. So, but I use these often for stuff like this when I've got a little couple extras in there. They keep the dust off of them, and the car is noticeable in there. They're clear. They don't have the coloring that the license plate ones do. But then you have to, you know, use, you know, from that series, and it's just the one series that made those that I know of. You can use parking plates as well. I mean, I guess you just flip them around backwards, and then you have, you know, the car showing from the back. Like if we took this and you wanted to show off the cars, right, you could do that, I guess. But then you're still gonna have, you know, whatever name of the parking plate on the other side kind of showing through. So unless you have those cars, for my parking plates, I do have these what do they call it, like shot glass cases I got from a local store. And the parking plate front, this piece actually fits in there. So I put that behind the car inside there, and then put the car in front of it, and that works out pretty well. So I use that for I'll show you guys that sometime. I need to get them up on the wall somewhere, but it's always a pain. I always like, I could put more stuff up on the wall, just knowing that in the future I'm going to, you know, eventually get this house built and everything will go up on the wall. So it kind of is what it is. But anyhow, there's you know, what I had to show you. There's the update on the cases, individual cases that I recently got, and then compared to some of the other stuff that I use currently. There was a I guess, well, I got these here too, and I don't have the fronts on them, and it's fairly dirty. I think these were like a Johnny Lightning thing. I've had these for, I don't know, 15 years. You can see there's dust in there. You can see where I've moved, and I had the cars in laying with their wheels down, and that's where they actually were sliding back and forth while, you know, traveling down the road for probably, in some cases, hundreds of miles. So that's what that little line is there in the back. But these have a front cover that hook on here on the sides here. So, but I use these for quite a while. I mean, I still got them here, obviously. I had some of the holiday cars, but again, you know, you got to do it in sixes, and, you know, I'm kind of OCD about it, so I prefer to use something. And they are stackable. So here's another pair that I've stacked together, and they hold together, and they've got little holes in there to put them on the wall and stuff, so they were all right. The little pieces like this here, this little section does break, which really doesn't hurt a whole lot because it'll still sit in there. As long as you got one side, it'll kind of sit in there, and the you know, lid will open and close still. So, but there's not too terrible. But I think those sold back in the early 2000s, if I remember right. And I think they were a Johnny Lightning thing. So don't tell anybody about that, that I got Johnny Lightning stuff. So I'm a big Hot Wheels fan. But yeah, so there's another thing that I use. And I guess since we're talking about storage of cars or whatever, I'm sure you've seen. But here is the Plano case that I use for all the flat packing of cars. This is a 5324. They're about, you know, $7 to $9 at any given time at the lowest point. They used to be like $6, which was, you know, pretty helpful because I probably bought over 1,000 of them so far during the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. In fact, I just bought 50 more. Of course, only less than half of them came, but hopefully those will be coming soon. But I use those for the flat packing for right now, and then again, once the house is built, I'll put everything up on the wall so that I could see it. And then, you know, the whole goal is that I can, you know, for a personal collection, not just for the MVP Hot Wheels side of it, you know, when there's variations and stuff going on in the in an auction or something like that, or I find something online, I could just walk over the car really quickly and be able to grab it and see what the difference in the variation will be. So that's just my personal goals, but not, you know, nothing crazy. The website works really well now that I'm getting, you know, all different sides of the car pictures taken. So I usually do 3 pictures to every car. So you'll normally see it in this position here, and then I flip it so you get the other side in the back, and then I do a base pick. So let's see, this would be upside down, but and then I do a base pick. Now you can go on the website and utilize that instead of, you know, going down into the basement and I have them all divvied up by make and model for the most part, and then by casting, you know, so all of my General Motors is kind of all on one shelf, and all my Ford, you know, Motor Company stuff is all on one shelf, and you know, all the Japanese cars are kind of together because there's not a whole lot, there's not as many as there are, you know, variations as there are for the, you know, US stuff. But you know, it takes a bit to go down there, and I can use the website faster than that. But if I was in my room, you know, and I plan on having a, you know, a desk and everything inside that space, so that while I am, you know, watching auctions, I could walk over to it and really kind of see that. Who knows? I probably still won't do it. I'm probably still lazy. I'll probably just look it up if I'm watching it on, you know, on my desk. I'll have a second monitor, so I'll have my website up and, you know, be able to use it to see the difference in the variations. As long as I do have, again, all the pictures. I have to update a whole bunch of pictures on there from the way I was doing it before, but it was more about quantity in that regard, trying to get as much information and some pictures on there. Now it's more of, you know, quality type, you know, situation where I want to provide the information that you're looking for. And sometimes, you know, the way I write it out, the way that I describe it, you know, in my own words, is different than other people may describe it. I've heard, you know, especially that a couple times, especially around I put Hot Wheels logo, you know, on the base. People call it the flame logo. You know, I think everybody understands what we're each talking about. So like when they say the flame logo and I say the Hot Wheels logo, we both, you know, we both understand what we're talking about. So, but there's things like that maybe it's not as understandable, and just having the picture right along with it makes it just a lot easier. So but that's pretty much all I have for you on this video. I hope you enjoy the update on these, and I want to Sakatoy or however you want to say it. I'm sure somebody else can let me know, but let me know what you guys like in the comments, and you know, maybe we can do some reviews of other stuff as well. And this is what I've come up with. I think it works out like this display better, much better than I had before. So thanks for working through that with me. And we'll see you next time. All right, thanks for watching.